Hello guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia coming to you once again with another book review, and this time continuing with the theme of the Tomb Raider series for this month. I'm going to review Archives 3 of this volume of the original Top Cow Productions run, which is one of the, in my opinion, is the best run for Tomb Raider, and one that is a must read for any fan. And this is, like I said before, this is published by Dark Horse Comics. But here you see Archives Volume 3, Tomb Raider. The art, this is Tyler Kirkham. This is actually one of the covers in the inside, in the interior, and there's introduction by Matt Hawkins. As you can see, I love the format. You have the different covers, some of the iconic covers in this run, in this volume. Here you see Tomb Raider. Love this on the side. Beautiful. Archives Volume 3, Dark Horse. And here you can see Tomb Raider, what drives Lara Croft to risk her life in search of the world's rarest treasures? That's a question. And of course, this volume collects issues 35 to 50 of the 1999 Top Cow Tomb Raider series, and features the art of superstar artists Tony Daniels, Michael Choi, Eric Basaldua, Taylor Kirkham, Francis Manapul, Greg Land, Adam Hughes, and many more. And here you can see the art. This is Eric Basaldua, and you can see Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix, and of course all the information there. Now going inside the book, love this format, love this intro. This is actually Francis Manapul's art. This is going to be a part of the last issue. You'll see that when we get there. Archives Volume 3, and this, of course, like I said, this is Eric Basaldua. Really love this one. Really love this one. Here you got Tomb Raider, and of course all the information. And right here you have this. I love this image of Lara, and this is Tony Daniels. Pretty cool. And of course you have a table of contents. Pretty much the same format as the ones that we have reviewed before, which is good. As an introduction by Matt Hawkins. Matt Hawkins is the president of Top Cow Productions. He has worked for Top Cow for Image Comics for over 20 years. He has been a writer, a creator, an executive for Image. He was one of the original team members when Image was created, working from the managerial position. And here he introduces the story, how everything came to be. How actually Lara Croft has impacted his life as a person that used to play the games, the original games back in the day, and then as the editor, he was an editor when of the stories that were presented here. So he was doing that. So he was very responsible on finding the talent, the artists, the stories, and everything for the book. Here's the Black Legion Part 1. This is Tony Daniels. Pretty cool actually cover. And like I mentioned before, what I don't like about this collections, or at least I don't like, is the fact that this only presents the art, but doesn't have pages where you can see the original comic art with the Top Cow, with the name, with the Top Cow logo, all of that. Of course, maybe because of rights issues, they are not able to do it, or they don't want to do it. But definitely would be nice if it's an extra just to have that, just for completionists like myself. But here you got the scripts by James Bonny. On the previous collection, Dan Jurgens finalized the run, but in this case James Bonny started writing the stories. One of the first stories that he wrote it together with Adam Hughes actually, and then he took over, and the biggest part of this collection is going to be him, the one writing. James Bonny is a writer that has done a lot of work for different companies, but he did a lot of writing particularly for Top Cow. He has a lot of stuff for Top Cow, but here you see. And pretty cool. This is actually Michael Choi. Love Michael Choi's art. We're going to get to that issue in a moment. But here you can see. Love it. Definitely like this art. What I like about, in this case, Tony Daniels. As you know, Tony has been everywhere, and he's been doing a lot of stuff for DC, a lot of stuff for Batman. I like his style. He does have a very reminiscence, and particularly because he worked with them, he has a Scott Campbell feel to things. And at some points, you're gonna feel he also has a Michael Turner feel in some of his art. At least some of the stuff that Michael Turner did by for himself. You'll notice that if you kind of pay attention. And as you know, with artists, they always try to go for imitate the artists that they love the most. Just it's normal, kind of not swiping the art, but learning from them and really applying their techniques. And of course, every artist does that. You take inspiration from those, not only from previous, from your childhood, but also from those artists that you work with. And here you can see, I love the way he does his panels. They're clean, they're big, they're simplistic, they're easy to follow, particularly for, I would say, for young people, for anyone. This is the time where it's modern style. I'm a fan. I like big panels, big art, and as you can see, and he has a cartoony style, very nice looking, very clean looking, but very well organized. Some people might say that it's too clean, like too empty. But I think as long as you kind of follow the story and you make a story work well, you definitely have gold in your hands. And he does very beautiful drawings of Laura, and you'll see that. I love this. This is the spread out panels, which is the norm nowadays. And here you can see the second part is another Tony Daniels page. Tony Daniels still, and I love this initial, the Black Legion part 1. This is part 2 of 3, but love the way he drew Lara, and here you can see that's the face, beautiful face. You can see the Michael Turner kind of style of drawing. This is actually one of my favorites in this collection. This part with Tony Daniels did here, I like this little. The little stories are okay, but I did like the way he drew the characters. Definitely it's a nice introduction. Definitely love it. Campbell's style there, really. You can see that influence. Of course, you also see some of the influence of Mark Silvestri. This one reminds me of Michael Turner. You can see it in this style and the way he does the figures. Dovin, this also reminds me of Michael Turner. Really nice. Really loving the way that he did the work here and the way he does the figures. Really, Tony Daniels has grown in fame, I would say, around. Love the way he does the musculature. He has become very, very, very popular. And this is another Tony Daniels cover. Pretty cool. And definitely love this splash page, or the original page, the first page. She's looking gorgeous there. And he's doing the art. He's not alone. He's working. Someone else is helping, Romano Molinar. Probably he's doing some background work because the original, the art, in this case, Lara, is definitely Tony. And you can see that this is one that you can really see that, like I said before, Michael Turner's influence there. You can see that. And the way he does the face, the expressions. Really miss Michael Turner. He was a phenomenal artist. He knew how to draw characters. And you can see there, going there, definitely. Really loving. Actually, I'm really stuck. I almost just over in the first page just by looking at Tony Daniels. This is, I think, the best part of the book. One of the best. You're gonna see other highlights that I'm gonna point out in a moment. But here you can see beautiful art. The pages got a little thinner in comparison to the previous collection, which is cool. You can see it's got Campbell's influence there. There's another Tony Daniels cover. However, Tony Daniels no longer does the art here, and we're gonna see now it's still James Bonny, but you have Wilson Wunan Tortosa, which he's a Filipino artist. He has a bachelor's in fine art, so he is definitely great art. He's a very famous artist in the Philippines. He has a lot of work in the Philippines. Has worked for a lot of companies here in America, Dynamite and other companies. Of course, Image Comics. I can tell you one thing. I'm not crazy about his art, and I wasn't crazy when this collection came out, or when this comics were sold. He does a great, and you can see the body, very good. He is very good with his body. He is clean. He works well. I'm not a fan of his facial expressions. I'm not a fan of the eyes. Never been a fan of that. He does kind of like a kiddish, I don't know, cartoony, anime style type of eyes, those big eyes. Of course, there's influence in the way he does work. As a Filipino artist, I've seen a lot of artists. I think he's working for other companies. He's done work that he has done for other companies like Dynamite and Image, and for some reason, I have never been able to really like it. I think he does great with the body. The fluidity of his art, the way he presents the panel layout. I think he does great. It comes in. I think comes in place. His what he's went to school for. Everything well good. But here you can see the body. Her body is great. It's very nice looking. She looks great there. But I just not for some reason. He's not a bad artist. This is just not one of my favorite ones. But he did a big part of this run. He did a lot of the issues here. This is definitely love this. Actually, the way he presented definitely looks like anime. You can see that he has a big influence from manga. A lot of the artists in the early 2000s. And they really influenced themselves a lot from manga, which was very big in coming to America, to North America. It was big in other parts of the world, but not necessarily in North America. And you start to see a big influx of it. I like his. This is actually his cover, and this is a good cover. I really like this. I actually do. As he says, his signature, woman. This is one of his good covers. I really like it. Tortosa did great there. But then it goes into, his regular art, which you can see all these stretch lines, which this is actually a style that is really very prevalent. Those lines there, to kind of imply motion. Those are taken from manga. So definitely seeing it there, it's interesting. It's different. I know a lot of people will love what he does, and he has a lot of followers, and he's admired, and I think he's well deserved in his country. But to me, I just didn't. I don't know. I just found it not of my liking. The stories were okay at this point. The stories are changing. I did like Jurgen's approach to the character. Bonny did the best he could. He did a lot of supernatural stuff, and you're gonna notice more and more as we go along to the later issues. You're gonna see that he did that. Now this is Greg Land. No really comments for Greg Land. I have liked some of the stuff he has done, but for the most part, he swipes, and as you know it, he just robs images from whatever, and implants them into images. So he did a cover here, which I'll give it that. That's it. It looked good, but it's just a swipe. So no more comments. I just don't want to tear someone apart on this. But here you have a different artist. This is Edwin David, one of the many artists that work for Top Cow, and that goes back to what I said before, that Top Cow at that point, as a small company, as a small imprint, they're doing a lot of different stuff, and of course they hiring a lot of newcomers and a lot of people. So there was a constant flux of artists into the different stories, which it is okay. But I've never been a fan, and this is why. It's because the more artists you bring into the fray, and he does good. I like his art, but this is the only issue he worked on, and he's good. He does. I like his little style. I think I like it more than Tortosa. Too bad that he didn't stay only for this issue, but she looked great there. He was doing great. His layout, it's okay. It's normal. It's normal. I wouldn't say that it's the greatest. The colors are a bit dark, and it's something that I can see as Top Cow went along. The colors got darker, but I like this one. Actually, I like this page. I like the way he did it here. Really looks good. Yeah. He does have good understanding of panel layout. To be honest, not bad. But he only did one. And going back to what I was saying, with Top Cow, he was doing a lot of this, bringing a lot of artists and different things. And here you can see Adam Hughes. This is a gorgeous cover. This is one of the reasons why I was buying. I could tell you this at the end of the run. After, of course, all the original artists left and they were doing other things. You were not really having too much. After Andy Parker was gone and Jurgens were gone, they were really. There was not much really to come to it. It was the same thing over and over. So what was really keeping buying these issues was Adam Hughes. And probably you have seen my review of the statue, one of my first reviews of my Statue Sideshow, the Adam Hughes Guardian of Light statue, which is one of my favorite ones. And this is Wilson Tortosa again. It's definitely one of my favorite. And as you know, probably you know by then, you've probably seen a lot of videos now of a lot of stuff that I do, a lot of reviews for for comic books and stuff like that. You might say, what the heck is wrong with JP doing this kind of stuff? But maybe you got the hint on that video many years ago, like 5 years ago, that I do love video games. That was one of my first reviews, and definitely I'm a big fan of Lara Croft. But like I said, at this point with Top Cow, they were bringing so many different people, and I was just buying the books because of the covers. Definitely, I'm a proper person. I'm a visual person. If I like the cover, I buy the book. In this case, the comic issue. And that was disappointing because you get an Adam Hughes, and inside you get someone else that is totally different. It's not even similar. It's just different, And Tortosa, like I said, he does great, but he's not my cup of tea. And here you go. Wow, this is a beautiful, beautiful Adam Hughes cover. Gorgeous cover. I love Adam Hughes. I need to review more stuff from him. I need to review some of his art books. I'm sorry, and for you to see. But here again, Wilson Tortosa. Like I said earlier, he was doing more and more. He was working for the company more and more, doing more stuff, which is good. It's the security in the job, and some people seem like it, and some people seem to ask for it. I'm not so sure if that was the idea, but the problem is that you're buying the issues because you see the cover just to come. And this is another one. Love this one. Love this one. This is the cheekiness of the Adam Hughes and his art. Beautiful. And Tortosa is doing this stuff. You've been disappointed. Bonny's just doing a lot of stuff with a little more mystical stuff, and at that time I was a little bored of the comic book, to be honest with you. But at that time I was like, I'm just buying it because I'm just buying it. The stories are okay, nothing to write home about, but it was just the covers. It's just, I think Top Cow knew that as long as they were printing those covers with Adam Hughes, people will continue to buy, and which is disappointing. But definitely, those are some of the best covers by Adam Hughes, in my opinion. Here you go. He's still Wilson Tortosa continuing with this storyline. By this time, I can tell you one thing. If you really pay attention, if you're trying not to be a judgmental or trying to kind of really look at it from a technical standpoint, and you put the feelings aside, you're going to realize that actually by that time, Wilson Tortosa was already getting more comfortable with the art. And he was doing better at his drawing, at least in my opinion. It was more natural, or it felt more natural, not as forced. And here you can see this. I really love the expression of this guy here, this evil guy. But definitely look at all of that. I feel that Wilson was doing better. His eyes were doing better. They were more defined. The face, the expressions. He definitely was doing a lot better. Love the layout here. Cool layout. He was I think we're more in tune with it, and that goes back to what I have said many times in these videos. The more you do the art, the more you involve in a project, the more comfortable you become with it. And this is another Adam Hughes. Like I said, Adam Hughes continues in this, another gorgeous cover, and this is Michael Choi. I'm so sad, and this is also Michael Choi, which I've seen throughout the pages. But here, I love Michael Choi. He is a famous comic book artist. He has worked for Marvel, DC, for every company, for Image Comics. He started at Top Cow, but he has done a lot of stuff also for video games. But Michael Choi, I'm so sad that Michael didn't do much here. At least, because to be honest with you, his art is very good, and it really fits well with the theme of this character. It really looks gorgeous, as you can see. He definitely has a feel. He does. Michael has a Top Cow. As a person that grew up with, went into Top Cow, started with Top Cow. He does have a big influence. You can see that influence of Mark Silvestri in his art. Very defined. Very cool. So it does have that feel. So it's kind of sad that we didn't see much of it. He does have a closer appeal like like they're in like Andy Park for some reason. I just feel that he does that. We would have been great to see him more, but at this point, I don't know if Top Cow was just given work. It's work for hire, so people are just bringing people in, just bringing other people in, just kind of you don't keep someone on the payroll forever, particularly when you have a small. But this one, I love this one. You can see that. Like I said, he does the body perfect. It does have that roundiness. She's not too slick like Marshall Bester. He has some little roundiness, kind of like what Andy Park was doing, which I like. I think she looks great when the figure is presented that way, and definitely this is cool. Love that face. Love that face. Kind of like a witch face, but here you can see he did great. Unfortunately, he was not involved much in it, and that was the end for it. And another, this is a cool, funny Adam Hughes cover. Kind of like, I really like it. Now, this is Eric Basaldua, and Eric Basaldua, as I mentioned, you saw him in the art and some of the pages initially. Love Eric. For some reason, it's another artist that I would have loved to see more. I think he did 2 issues here, but love the art. He does have a Mark Silvestri style. He looks like Mark Silvestri in the way he does things, and this is because he started with Top Cow under Mark Silvestri. He is a protege of Mark Silvestri. He started doing some of the background stuff for him with Witchblade and with other art. And he has worked for Top Cow for many years, and he has done other stuff for himself and it's smaller runs for other companies. But his style, it really works well with this character. It's definitely Top Cow style. Every company has a style. Of course, you have different artists. Every artist has a style, but particularly with smaller companies, you can see that influence really takes all the artists, particularly the younger artists, into it. They all kind of work together, which is great. And I think that Basaldua, too bad that we have seen him much, but he does great. And I love this one actually. You can see this guy. Love this. Love that. I really like Eric. Too bad that he didn't do much and he didn't work more. I think I would have preferred to see him more involved into this project than Tortosa. But that's just my opinion. But here you can see, love his ways, really good in the fight. Very nice figures there. Yeah, a lot of people would say if you have to choose the best or the ones that you like the most, of course, the first 2 volumes are better than the last 4. And here you can see the Magdalena. Love this one. Love this one. This is the one where I'm really happy that actually Adam Hughes was doing the cover. Love this cover. The covers were great, but the best part is that the interior art was also great. It was different, but it was great. And Basaldua was doing it. But this time, Jay Leinsten, and we haven't mentioned this, he was actually doing the inks. So he started doing the inks later into the run. Many people involved, of course. Tyson Wengler was doing the coloring, and he was doing the colors for quite a while. I haven't really mentioned his name as well. But here you can see, they really like it. Really like it. Love that. This is extremely cool. I really like it. I feel that he does, like many of them, you can see the influence that they take from people like Lee and Silvestri and all the people there, all the people that started Image Comics. You can see that, and which is good. Who doesn't love comics and doesn't get influenced by the artists, their favorite artists? We all do, one way or the other. That's how we expect the art to be. We want the art to really represent those characters that we grew up with, and from the perspective of those artists that they drew the character for us. But here you can see, I really like it. I really like this actually crossover between Magdalena and the Tomb Raider. Pretty cool. This is another one, Gathering Storm Part 3, and this is another Adam Hughes cover. Oh, very good. Those covers are great. For some people, this is my favorite covers in the run, and probably one of my favorite covers ever, at least modern comic covers. This is Leonard Kirk. He's an American artist. He's the one doing the drawing. He lives in Canada. He has worked for all the companies. He worked for he started at Malibu Comics back in the day, and of course he worked for Image. He has worked for DC, Marvel. His art is okay. It's nothing. He's just like every other artist that has done a lot of stuff for Top Cow. He can kind of blends into the background with other. It's nothing, I would say, different that change that is separate from others. He's done a lot of stuff. He only did one issue here. Like again, going back to the same thing, I think what's the problem with this run is the fact that they were just only pumping. They were having different artists, and they were pumping the issues, but they were just different artists, and ultimately that deteriorates the relationship between comic book reader and the company, because you just don't want to go back to the same thing. You don't know who's going to come up next month, so you just let it go, move on to the next thing. And another Adam Hughes cover. This is another cool one, cheeky one. And of course, this is Tyler Kirkham, who did the original, the figure and the original cover, which was a variant. And here you can see he did also just one issue, and he is good. I think he has right now he is under contract with DC, so he just only works for them. Also great, started with Top Cow, and many people, like many artists, you start with the small companies before you go into the big leagues, if you call it that way. So you have to prove a point, and one way or the other, a lot of these artists were trying to prove themselves, creating some art that will catch the eye of someone, would catch the eye of someone at the big companies like DC or Marvel. And that's what a lot of these artists want to do, which is, it's okay. It's not okay in some ways. It really kind of maintains the status, but at the same time, people need a secure paycheck. And if you're working for a small imprint, then you might not be able to make it, to make ends meet. And you can make your own thing. And right now, a lot of people are doing it, which is a great thing. I love the fact that a lot of artists are able to produce their own stuff and online and print themselves, but it's not as simple as it seems. It requires a lot of work, a lot of planning, and you are an artist or you're a business manager. So that's the part. A lot of artists, they have no experience as business managers, so they don't know how to manage their own business, so they have to have someone to help them. So sometimes it's easier to work for somebody and just do what you love, with, in this case, draw. And this is Alpha Omega. This is the last issue of this run, the original run. Another beautiful cover by Adam Hughes, as you can see there. But this is actually Francis Manapul. Francis and Dan Slott actually is the one that wrote this. A lot of people love Dan. Some people don't love Dan. I'm in the middle. I like him. I hate him. It depends how I feel. Depends how you feel with the run or whatever he's working on. But he was invited to do the last issue, and he kind of brought everything together, kind of created a story of Lara. The story is okay. Francis Manapul came back. He was on the original, you saw some of his art at the beginning, on the first part of the first archive, and he does the art, and it's okay. I like Manapul. I like the stuff he's done now, and it really kind of blends in well. At least it's a farewell for the character, at least for this initial run. And of course, there were others that are in the issue, and in this case, are part of the Archive 4, which we're going to review next week. But here you can see that. Love Manapul's approach to art. Really like it. I really like the colors here too. So they're great. This story that kind of goes to the beginning of everything. Very cool. Love this. Really like it. I don't know. This is a great. And this is, of course, again, a Manapul, and of course the art on the side of here on the side, and there we have the cover gallery. Always have to have the cover gallery, and of course you have Tony Daniels. Love this one. Another great Tony Daniels cover, very similar style. Another Tony Daniels, like this one. I really like this one. I like that one too. Really love the Tony Daniels covers. Really. I like this Wilson Tortosa. I wasn't a fan of a lot of stuff he did, but I did like his cover. Very cool, very nice looking. Greg Land, no comments. Adam Hughes, love Adam Hughes. This is a Mark Silvestri variant cover. Love this. I think Mark is good. Too bad that we never really saw Mark. I think we did it. We saw once, but we didn't saw much of Mark in this run. But this cover, it's good. The figure is good. Definitely Mark knows how to do his drawings. And now the great Adam Hughes cover. Beautiful Adam Hughes cover. Adam Hughes is pumping those. This is Tyler Kirkham. This is the variant cover that I mentioned before. Very cool. Very different. Kind of like it. Here you get another Adam Hughes. Another gorgeous cover. Adam Hughes. Definitely all these are Adam Hughes. Here Adam Hughes is really doing great. He knows what he's doing. Now the Adam Hughes. Love Adam. I'm going to keep saying that. Eric Basaldua, and this is actually great cover. This is a good one. I like his art. Love this art. Look at that. Very strong. A lot of energy there. Another one here. This is, of course, Adam Hughes. Love that. Pretty cool. Adam Hughes. Oh, the best covers are here. Actually, in this run, you have the best covers. And of course, here you have Eric Basaldua again. Great. I think I want to see more Eric stuff somewhere. Here you have Adam Hughes. And Adam Hughes. And now turning the page, you have a Lara's book. This is a book that was created actually by Douglas Coupland, who was actually the novelist, or was it one that created the word Generation X. So he created a book that was printed like a novel. So here you have this as a tidbit, as an extra, which is definitely very, very cool. Very, very cool. We like that these little extras here and there kind of complement the whole story, the whole book and everything. So this is it, Manapul again, and this is it. So Basaldua, okay, and Manapul, cool. All right, now going into, this is actually the smaller, is really on the size is the same size as the first archive. The second archive was really larger in page count. And going back to my recommendations, do I recommend this book? I certainly do. I do if you are a Tomb Raider fan. If you already purchased the first two archives, then you definitely need to have the third archive. You have to have 4. You have to have the whole collection. And you know what? It doesn't break the bank. The price is pretty good, which I really like. I really like when the companies reproduce something and they give you a good price. The stories are okay. They're not the best stories you will find in any comic books, run. They're not the greatest, but they have adventure, they have some horror elements, they have a lot of mysticism things. So it's just Tomb Raider all around. Lara Croft. So this is, to me, my favorite Lara Croft. I like it better than the new one. Of course, the newer one, the new version, a lot of people love. My daughter particularly, she loves the new Lara Croft. So the game is coming out. It's actually coming out. Already came out this weekend. A lot of people are buying the new game. So definitely, I really like Tomb Raider. I've been a follower. I collected the figures. I collected the statues. I collect the comic books. The games. I've really always been a fan. The movies. So I really like it. I definitely recommend it. If you already started with this will not be a good starting point. This is the end for this run. Of course, there's this 4-volume concentration, the one-shots and all that, but we'll talk about it. We'll show you that next week, but definitely only showcases that. But this, of course, complements the rest. So if you already have volume 1 and 2, they definitely need to close it with this one. And also, like I said, you will find the best covers here from Adam Hughes and some really cool stories, entertaining stories. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. Support any way you can this channel. Press the links below. Whatever you purchase through Amazon, it helps me. But also, follow me on the different social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's greatly appreciated, whatever you do, and it is really appreciated that you spend this lengthy time with me through this review. So once again, thank you, my friends. God bless you, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye bye.
We can make a wildfire get away.